Jimmy Tatro, did you block shoot the first season of American Vandal?
We did, yeah. We shot all 8 episodes in about 30 days, maybe a month and like a week, from like January to February 2017.
That's that's unusual. I find it especially unusual with a show like this one that supposedly has so much improvisation. Tell me, how did you keep track of where your character was over the season if you weren't shooting things in order?
That was one of the tougher things about shooting the show, because there would be days when you're going from an extreme high point to an extreme low point and then back to an extreme high point. Um, Day two was actually a massive roller coaster of emotions for me. We shot all of the stuff at Dylan's house in the first 3 days. So that was like all the heavy stuff, all the fun stuff. Um, and it was a little hard to keep track of, but that was just where it helped to have director and a showrunner and creators as good as Tony and Dan, because they just kind of really helped give me context in the situation. And there was so much improv that it helped to have Tony constantly in my ear saying, "This is what you know at this point." Because it was necessary before almost every scene for him to just kind of bring me up to speed with exactly what I know at this point. Because then we could shoot something shortly after where I know less than I knew in the last scene. So it was a little tough to keep track of, but Tony is a great director, so that helped a lot.
Yeah, tell me more about improvising on the show, because that's something I feel like I don't really understand in general in film, where you have somebody whose job it is, script supervisor, to make sure you're all on track. And obviously you got all the scripts before you started shooting. So like, how much freedom did you have?
A lot. There was definitely times where the script supervisor probably wanted to say something and was just like, "I need to just sit down and forget about this," because we would do. I mean, what they did was that I thought was really smart was they did improv takes first. So they would just interview me on camera. They would just ask me, they'd roll for like an hour, and I wouldn't know what kind of questions were going to come out of Tyler's mouth. I would just have to be in character and just be interviewed. And that was actually a lot of fun. And they actually ended up using a lot more of that than I thought they were going to. Because there were times when I would just go on these random tangents. And like I was talking about like bringing a pencil. They just said like, talk about how you're gonna like bring a pencil and be more involved in class. And I started talking about God knows what. And next thing you know, it was in the show. So it was definitely a lot of fun to have that kind of freedom.
What was your favorite thing that didn't make it into the final cut?
Oh man, I would have to think about that for a little bit. Um, there was so much interview footage, way too much interview footage. I know there was no way it all could have made it in. But we just had so much fun in those interviews. And there was one thing I specifically remember where they had two people fight in the other room, and they didn't tell us that was going to happen because they just wanted to get a genuine confused reaction out of us. And it worked very well. We were extremely confused why someone just started, screaming in the middle of our take. So you just kind of see us like looking off camera and then like looking at the camera and then like, what's going on? And I don't think that one made it in there, but it was funny.
What surprised you about like when you actually saw the show after it came out, what surprised you about the format of it? Because I imagine it's not something that was, entirely laid out on the page, because there's so much mixed media with, the modeling of
Right.
the kitchen or whatever, and, switching to Snapchat, all that kind of stuff.
So that was seeing that stuff all come to life was awesome because believe it or not, they actually did lay out things pretty well in the script. Um, like in terms of the way they explained how social media was used and the footage of the party and stuff. They painted a pretty good picture in your head, but there's always that level of uncertainty. How are they gonna do this? Is this gonna play? And seeing the way everything came together in the final cut was awesome. I mean, I had just I hadn't seen anything since we were shooting on set and seeing playback and stuff like that. So just seeing the way they brought everything together, I was just constantly impressed by episode to episode. And I can say that because I didn't write or make the show. I was just in it, so I can say that I thought it was awesome.
And did they consult you at all? Being a YouTube star, I feel like you would be an expert on how that kind of media gets used.
I felt like that is something that I always judge very critically. Is how people use social media in film and TV, because I feel like it's so easy to get cheesy with that kind of stuff. And they just did such a good job of keeping it authentic and keeping it the way that you would think high school kids would actually be using stuff. I don't know, you just see a lot of shows now where it's like, it sounded like some 50-year-old like, well, maybe we'll throw in a hashtag there, and he has no idea what a hashtag is, But I don't know. I just think the writers are very in touch with the world, and it helped that Dan has a 17-year-old, so he really understands the way they speak and the way they use their phones and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I think they did a good job. They listened to a lot of, they would hear me out on a lot of things, but like for the most part, I didn't really have much to say.
Yeah, I feel like your show was the first where I didn't cringe when a character name dropped Instagram.
Right. Usually it seems so forced. In this, it was very natural.
So where are you with YouTube now? Because I see that you're breaking your content up into seasons. So when is season 6 coming out of Life According to Jimmy?
I would like to make a season 6 sooner than later. It's a time thing right now. I like literally just don't have time to make videos at the moment. I'm working on a TV show and doing pre-production for another series I'm working on. So there just is a lack of time. There's also a lack of motivation to put content on YouTube. I'm just not really a huge fan of what the platform is turning into at the moment. I'm definitely gonna make a season 6. I would hope in the next year. Yeah, I had kind of said season 5 was going to be 15 videos, and I ended up doing like 9. And then I ran out of time. So if anyone's seeing that, I apologize. But season 6 will come out eventually. I have like a list of videos that I still want to do really badly. It's just a time thing right now.
And what are these other shows that you're in right now?
I feel like I'm allowed to say I'm doing one on TBS called The Guest Book. So that's the one I'm working on at the moment. And then I'm doing season 2 of Real Bros of Simi Valley, which was a series I did on my YouTube channel. And we're shooting that in late June.
Do you know what the status of your pilot with Kenya Barris is, Bright Futures? NBC is picking up, not picking up shows this week, but haven't heard about that.
We're going to find out about that in a couple weeks. I know the upfronts are like mid-May. So it should be only a couple weeks until we get a final answer on that. But fingers crossed.
And I also wanted to ask about another show you mentioned in another interview where you said that you wanted to make kind of like an auteur comedy, semi-autobiographical. Have you made any progress with that one?
Yes. So that one I don't think I should say because things are still being finalized. But we did get a development deal. I don't want to say where. We took that show out. We pitched a bunch in January, February, And they're still working out some of the deal points, but we will be pursuing a development deal with that show.
Exciting.
Yeah.
And in these other roles, do you find that you're ad-libbing like more now after American Vandal?
Um, I think I should remove that expectation from my head if it's in there somewhat, because American Vandal was very unique in the sense that they really allowed um, the freedom to just kind of play with the character and make it your own. Um, and that's just not it's just not the case with all projects. And sometimes when you're working with someone who has a very clear vision for what they would like the show or the film to be, you got to just kind of give them what they want, which is what's on the page. And that's something I don't want to say I've needed to get used to, but I've been lucky enough to have a lot of freedom with the projects I've done thus far. Um, and I think I kind of need to understand that a lot of the time you just gotta give them the lines the way they want them.
Yeah, break down the difference between working on American Vandal and then your guest spot on Modern Family, because they're both mockumentaries, but I guess on Modern Family they do a lot of kind of mugging where they'll say a punchline and then they'll look straight at the camera. Whereas in American Vandal, you guys didn't do that ever, I don't think.
Right. Yeah. Like one of the notes in American Vandal was like they don't want I remember Tony was saying like we don't want it to feel like The Office, where you make a joke and then you look at the camera and acknowledge that it was a joke. Like we're playing the whole thing dead serious. So they wanted the camera to miss things. They wanted little imperfections about the way it was shot because that made it feel more real. Like someone starts talking off screen, the camera's not on him. The camera finds him once he starts talking. So that was just because of the way that uh, was formatted. It allowed for a lot more. It was just allowed for a lot more like loose conversational dialogue where you can kind of talk over each other and stuff like that. Whereas something like Modern Family it's a network TV show, and although it's shot in a mockumentary kind of format, they're very precise about the way they do everything. Um, so it wasn't really like an improv kind of environment, but it was an awesome experience. And like I love Modern Family, so it was an honor to be on the show.
How much are you in season 2 of American Vandal? They've already shot it and they're doing, a new kind of Vandal story. But like, do we check in with Dylan?
I mean, I maybe see a quick recap of what happened last season, but other than that, I think whole new story, whole new cast, except for Peter and Dylan. I mean, Peter and Sam, the documentarians. They carry it.
I actually thought that might be another question that you wouldn't answer, but got that one.
Hopefully, no, I think I've seen an interview with Tony and Dan where they said I wasn't in it, so I feel like I should be good on that one. I hope. Now you got me all nervous.
One thing that we can see you in these days is the music video for the song Freaky Friday. Now I'm wondering how that came about. Are you a Chris Brown fan?
Um, so Tony, the director of American Vandal, directs all of Lil Dicky's videos. He did Pillow Talking, Save That Money, like Let Me Freak, all the ones that I like. Um, so he hit me up and told me they wanted someone for the intro scene. And I've met Dave through him. He's come to some of the Vandal stuff. Um, but yeah, he sent me the concept and I was like, wow, this is a hilarious concept. Um, and I just was down to jump on board.
Okay, and now finally, tell me about being nominated opposite Robert De Niro for a Critics' Choice Award for Best Actor in a Limited Series or Movie.
I mean, that was it was. I woke up to a phone like a bunch of phone calls, and I didn't understand what was happening. I just know that Tyler Alvarez, who played Peter Maldonado and Vandal. He called me at like 8 a.m. And I woke up. I was like, hello? He's like, dude, you just got nominated for a Critics' Choice Award. This is crazy. And I heard Kids' Choice Award. So I didn't really think it was. I was like, okay, like that's cool, but I mean I don't know if that would warranted a 8 a.m. phone call. I was like, okay, that's cool, man. And then I like kind of went back to sleep and then woke up again and saw some screenshots that people were sending me of all the actors that were nominated. Um, and it was just such an honor to be on that list and just to even be at that award show. I brought my mom and she was just looking around, freaking out. And I remember after Ewan McGregor won, and my mom was like, he said something like a couple weeks later, like about what we were doing after. She's like, I didn't know if you were like upset. Like, mom, you think I was upset that I just lost to Ewan McGregor? Like, come look at the list, mom. You think I thought I was gonna win this? Um, but it was just like I said, it was just such an honor to be even on that list and even get that kind of recognition. Was way more than I expected for the project.
All right. Well, I hope you get the honor again at the Emmys this summer. So best of luck there.
Yeah, thank you. I hope so.